Greetings, everyone. This is the Trans Files, episode 1. This is something that we're going to be doing every Wednesday. We're going to be talking about different topics that's regarding the trans community. So, tonight we're actually going to discuss performative allyship. Performative allyship is very real, and I know most of you have heard me talk about what it is, but I'm going to go a little bit more in depth with it tonight. So, my definition of performative allyship is basically somebody that acknowledges a community or even a different race, and they basically pretend that they really stand with them. It's gone to its extreme these days with tweeting, but yet they don't do anything effectively for that said community or race. So I wanted to go ahead and discuss this tonight because during Pride Month, we know that we are going to be seeing a lot of this, and I have no problems calling this out because performative allyship, in my opinion, has been destroying and dividing the trans community as well as everybody else in the LGBTQ. It's caused a lot of harm in terms of trans deaths, more discrimination, and we feel at this point like educating you all about this is going to help make a dent in the stigma and try to make things better for the trans community and the LGBTQ as a whole. So I just want to go ahead and open the floor for discussion about this. I want to also actually introduce my friend Justin. He is non-binary, or they are non-binary, so I apologize, Justin. But they are a really good friend of mine. I met them back, what was it, 2020?
Yeah, 2020.
Yep, during the shithole year. So they were really with me and they stood by me when I was dealing with a lot of bullshit at, I'm going to have no problem blasting them, but STARS Behavioral Health Group. So I just want to say thank you for standing up for me and really standing by me and being there for me.
Yeah, anytime.
So let's go ahead and open the floor when it comes to performative allyship. Whoever wants to go first and talk about it, I am willing to just sit back and listen.
Go, Justin.
Um, the usual performative allies is like they say that they're an ally, but their actions don't match, and they don't usually take criticism very well, and then we'll just revert to being just straight up bigoted at. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What about you, Sukaru?
Okay, so cutting straight to the chase. I mean, so you unfortunately you see that a lot in the activist community. I hate to say it because I may get shit for this, but yeah. Okay, so a lot of groups. Um, okay, so usually a lot of groups are when they start out, unless they are like specifically Asian group or POC group, when they start out they are sort of like a white people based. I mean, like there are a lot of white people in the group, so they usually do this thing where like they form like outreach committee, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because yeah, outreach committee, and they recruit people like me to be an outreach committee, but then like they get so satisfied, now that they have outreach committee and they don't do anything about it.
Yep.
It's kind of like you are on your own. Like, if I'm on the outreach committee, it's like, oh yeah, you do the work. It's like we watch, that kind of thing. So yeah, I've had that happen to me so many times. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we see it in mental health too, because like Justin actually can attest to this. So the company I was referring to, Stars Behavioral Health Group, they hired a bunch of diverse people, and I'm truly convinced, at least for me, I feel like they hired me just simply for the fact that I was trans. So, and because behind closed doors, they treated me like shit. And that was totally not okay. Um, I I haven't really seen it in activist groups too. I see it more in terms of like mainstream media. That's kind of where I see performative allyship getting reinforced, as well as like corporations, like Kaiser, and some sense HRC. People actually have forgotten that
Yeah.
HRC actually tried to throw the trans community under the bus at one point in time. So some people actually do need to remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Where I was going to ask you, Justin, where have you mainly really seen it the most? I know that you have a good grasp of what it is. I'm just kind of just want to share with the audience, like, where have you experienced it the most?
Okay, so one big one was what year was this? I think this was 2020. It was during the summertime for Pride and dealing like Black Lives Matter movement at the height. Um, Initially, the LGBT Center for Sacramento wasn't supposed to. They were saying that they weren't going to have cops in the parade,
Mm-hmm.
but they
I remember that.
succumbed to pressure
Mm.
when it came to money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. I remember that we were having an outrage over that. I mean, I know in San Francisco, what was it? The mayor over there
Yeah.
essentially said that they weren't going to come to Pride, but it sounds like they made a compromise and they're bringing cops to Pride. I
Mm,
mean, if you're truly like an understanding of LGBTQ history, you know that we don't like cops at Pride because they're part of the reasons why we had the riots. They were
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
harassing and attacking members of the LGBTQ. You know, everybody talks about the Stonewall riots, and in my opinion, that is a good topic to talk about, but they neglect to tell you more that the trans community actually stood with the gays. And, you know, that's a thing that I'm seeing a lot too. Performative allyship kind of, yeah, we kind of see it outside of the LGBTQ, but it actually also does happen within the LGBTQ, and nobody actually ever talks about it. Um, Mainly, I see it a lot with the gay community. They have this sense of entitlement, like they just know it all. They dominate the space. When essentially, you know, I'm not gonna like say that all members of the gay community are bad because there are some genuine gay people that I am friends with.
Mm-hmm.
However, it's when the trans community is in trouble, they will sit there and try to kind of fight their way and argue their way to say, "Hey, we're more important. Look at us. Look at us. Look at us." And
Yeah.
honestly, that needs to be fixed. But that's just kind of like what I've noticed. Have you guys noticed any of that type of behavior within the LGBTQ?
Yeah. I
yeah,
mean,
definitely.
definitely, right? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, um, okay, so if we don't talk about, I know this is a trans show, but if we don't talk about like trans specific though, I mean that um gay man being the top of the hierarchy has been there like forever. I remember like when way back when I was identifying as lesbian. I mean, like you go to like a resort, Palm Springs. Palm Springs has a big LGBTQ resort, right? And
Mm-hmm.
some
Mm,
resorts are kind of okay. So some resorts are like men's resorts,
Mm-hmm.
others are lesbians resorts, but there's a kind of like a co-ed resort. Well, that's what they say, right? But
Mm-hmm.
if you go there though, gay men totally dominate, and they look at you like oh, like what are you doing here? Yeah.
mm.
Um. So yeah, I think it's been there forever.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, does not make it okay.
Yeah, it's not okay. How about you, Justin? Because I know we kind of talked about this kind of outside of this.
Oh yeah, definitely, and it's I think I probably like said like when they got gay marriage, it was just like, oh, it's over, and it's like, no, it's not.
Mm-hmm.
It's, we're seeing it play out now that it's not, and yeah,
Yeah,
it's bullshit.
it is bullshit. So we got a comment here, and I actually want to ask this question to all of you. Do you ever see cis partners of trans people be performative?
Hmm.
I know this will probably be a question to think about, and I personally have seen it. I have had cis partners that have been pretty performative. They would actually try to use me to escape their transphobic behavior, basically
Mm.
referring to me as, well, I have a trans partner, so I can't be transphobic.
Yeah.
That's
That
so
type of
classic.
line.
Somebody does that argument, be like, I have this blank person. It's like that does not. You just that doesn't. Can't even find the words. Just because you say you have this person that's part of this group, so you can't be prejudiced is stupid.
Yeah,
It's-
yeah, you said it, Justin. Yeah, no, it's so classic though. It makes me laugh because it's so classic. People say that kind of shit all the time, right? I mean,
yeah,
for the longest time, like, oh, I am not racist because I have a black friend. You know,
yeah, and they still do that to this day. I'm like, do you know how stupid you look? I'm like, God damn.
I mean, like, I would even argue, like, if you're even going to go as far as say that, then you are transphobic, or in this case, like, you're a racist. If you're actually going to
Yeah.
say that, like, that's just not, no. Like, I think that's the most pathetic fucking things I've actually personally heard out of anybody's
Mm,
mouth. I mean, when I have gotten into it with people on TikTok, they always pull that line on me. And you know, Siguru, I am actually going to make sure going forward,
mm.
I'm going to say, well, I have a straight cis friend.
Yeah,
Do it, do it.
yeah.
Oh my goodness! Remember when you
Oh my
somebody
god.
called you heterophobic?
Yeah, we were talking about that.
Yep.
And like,
Oh my
That's when I said, okay, you should have said, oh, I have straight friends. I can't be heterophobic. Yeah.
or we're playing heterophobic Olympics. That was when I got two. I was like, okay, well, this is the most garbage shit I've ever heard in my life because, like, see, like, for me, it's like I never honestly didn't think heterophobia actually existed. And I'm like, is this even a word? But it actually is. It's in the dictionary. And I'm like, what the
Mm.
fuck? Y'all
I
really put
can't
that shit in the
believe it
dictionary?
that they put that in the dictionary.
Yeah, like, oh my god.
Shoot, I hope it's just like in Urban Dictionary, and then at the bottom it says you're fucking stupid if you actually Google this, thinking that it's a thing.
I'm so dead. I am so dead. I think it was in the Webster dictionary actually, to be honest.
Oh
That's where I
wow.
found it.
Damn, come on, Webster.
Well, because the hetero people make that. I mean, that's why.
Yeah,
That is true. They do make
Yeah.
that.
yeah.
So I wanted to kind of go back a little bit with the performative allyship. So as we mostly have seen, we had gotten the biggest slap in the face on the first day of Pride Month. So the Biden administration decided to go ahead and release a Nancy Reagan stamp.
Yep.
And those who are not really familiar with the Reagan administration, that whole administration was garbage. But not to mention, they were very homophobic. They
Yep.
treated the AIDS crisis like it was a fucking joke. And honestly, for me, if you're going to go ahead and say that you're for the LGBTQ, and I mean, I did see the tweet shortly after. They said, well, we stand with you guys at the LGBTQ. Pride is about this, blah, 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 blah. It's like, then why do that on Pride Month?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was completely tone deaf.
Yep.
Yeah. It's just like, how dare you? And it's
I
just like,
know.
I wanted to almost say, it's like, well, then you shouldn't really be tweeting anything about LGBTQ pride if you're going to actually do that. Like, I mean, for me, it's like with performative allies, this is why I kind of can give some level of respect to the opposition
Mhm.
because they actually openly admit to me that they are garbage people.
Yeah,
Performative allies, they do not do that. They basically
Right.
pretend to be nice,
Hmm.
and of course, with the trans community, we're particularly vulnerable because some of us don't even have support. So we open up our hearts to them, and then they go ahead and act like this. It's like,
Hmm.
just admit to me you're a garbage person. Just spare me the freaking heartbreak. Just tell me.
Yeah.
Spare me.
Yeah.
yeah.
That Nancy Reagan thing though, I almost feel like it's hostile. Okay, it's
Yes.
hostile. It's not
Yeah.
even. I mean, how can they not be aware though? Okay,
Right.
I mean,
Like
right. I'm not one of these people who gives like a lot of credit to Joe Biden just because she's a scholar, but she is a scholar. She
Mhm.
reads, right? She
Yes.
reads, right? Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
she must know the history. She must know what happened, like under
Yeah.
that administration, what happened, in the 80s, like when it was the height of AIDS pandemic. Yeah. So I mean, I'm like,
He's
oh,
old
are you
enough to know
trying?
that time.
I just thought it was like so hostile. I mean, like, okay, are you just trying to tell us that? Like, are you trying to pick a fight? I mean, basically,
Right.
yeah.
I think they were claiming they were doing it as part of the war on drugs. That's why they were doing it. And I'm like, okay, first of all, what war on drugs? Okay, cannabis is legal in a majority of the country, but he won't even legalize that. But that I don't want to get too political on the issues with this.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I took it. I saw it as very hostile. I was like, you've been to school, you know this. Why would you do that? Like, you got to know how offensive that is. It's like, for me, like, I even hate to pull this card. Like, I would have rather them done it in July, to be honest, if they were
Yeah.
going to insist on doing that. Like, I mean,
Mm.
but Pride Month,
Mhm.
their very first day of Pride Month, like, you just got me really messed up.
Yeah.
Total slap in the face. Just
Agreed.
Total slap in the face.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, they're still encouraging. And speaking, let's go ahead and talk about the cops' pride thing, because it's just like they're still even encouraging that we need to have police at Pride. So I know we're going to probably get some shit, basically, for saying that. So I would like to just open the discussion. It's like, so then how do we also assure the public that we're going to be taken care of? For me, as long as we have community, that's all the protection I need, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need cops. Having cops at Pride is just another slap in the face.
yeah.
And they even politicize us too by sitting there putting the rainbow sticker on Pride Month.
Yep.
Mhm.
So I want to go ahead and open the door to that conversation.
I mean, what can I say? Yeah, I mean, I do agree with you, and again, I have to kind of make a reference to, so like not only LGBTQ, but like, okay, people of color community, right? I mean, like, okay, so in Asian community right now, since we are, under attack, Asian, anti-Asian hate crimes are, it's just bad. I mean, it's still really bad right now, right?
Mhm.
So a lot of my peers, Asian American activists are out there, in the community, and doing a safekeeping. It's not a vigilante kind of thing. They're just patrolling, so as to make sure like seniors, especially like Asian seniors, are protected. They walk them to the stores and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So the point is, though, it's like, yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I don't think even when hate crimes are bad in the Asian community, I'm not the one to advocate. Okay, let's increase police force, in that community. No,
Mm.
because I think what we need is community taking care of ourselves. You know, so I agree. I don't think having cops at Pride, I don't think that increases safety because
Mm-mm.
they've,
No.
historically
At
speaking,
all.
as you said, Noah, I mean, they've been hostile to us. They've been
Right.
harassing us. So yeah, and actually, by the way, I have to say about San Francisco
Mm-hmm.
incident. Okay, it was not even that they did not actually. The Pride did not say that they cannot attend. All
Mm-hmm.
they said was they cannot wear uniforms.
Yep.
And then they
Mhm.
flipped out. I mean, come on. Is that
Yes.
too much to ask? I mean, you can't wear your fucking uniform. I'm sorry. I mean, wow.
Like,
Yeah.
why throw a
They're
Karen
obsessed
fit
with
over
their
that?
uniform, and they'll just be like, "Blue lives matter." I just want to make a joke, be like, "I didn't know Smurfs were real."
I am so dead. I am so dead.
Yeah, I'm just
Like this comment here. I actually agree. We do need to learn how to defend ourselves because honestly, we're in a position now in this country that, I mean, saying that you're with the trans community may be reassuring, but in a sense, we're in a position where we're scared and we're basically vulnerable to take and intake anything that's being said to us. We need to learn how to defend ourselves because the violence against us is getting real. Like I said on the last stream, so far 14 people have died this year. I believe one of them was a suicide, but 57 people in 2021 died. Those deaths could have been totally preventable.
Yeah.
And I actually am going to make, and I know I'm going to get shit for this comment. I know a lot of people have been talking about January 6th a lot. I want to go ahead and just put this out here for potential allies that are listening. Do you know there is a trans woman of color that died on January 6th? She was murdered. If you are really with us, start talking about these trans lives that are getting lost. Put politics aside. I mean, at this point, like, I'm so burnt out by seeing all this stuff about January 6th is ridiculous. I want to talk about the people that have lost their lives and what we're going to do to make this world better for the trans community. I honestly get so depressed if I actually read about another trans person that lost their life. But I wanted to go ahead and just look at this comment here because something that caught out to me. Kelsey was saying that he was told by another trans man to stop being a woman.
What?
This type of shit, I want to call this out.
Yeah.
This is the gatekeeping that we see in the trans community. This is the one thing I particularly see with trans men, that they engage in this type of stuff. Enough with this. Trans men, yes, we may have been getting pretty lucky, but there's more of us that are starting to get murdered. It's not equivalent whatsoever to trans women. Trans women obviously have been affected the most when it comes to losing their lives. But we're falling right up there. We have this discussion about validity all the time. Recognize trans men that some people cannot transition. Stop shaming them. Just stop it.
Yeah.
Stop lecturing people about passing. Enough with it. And I blame that whole discourse about passing is on the gender norms. That is also going to be another topic that's going to be heavily discussed on this network is gender norms. Because honestly, that also has been part of the reason why we are divided in our own communities, particularly the trans and non-binary communities. I just want to say my heart goes out to you, Kelsey. Just keep staying strong. Don't let that shit get to you.
Yeah.
You're not going to get to you.
Yeah. What kind of fucking bullshit is that?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah, it just really upsets me because like I was talking about this with Noah. I mean, we were like talking via text, so we didn't have like a discussion. But okay, so I must admit, okay, so masculine, feminine. This, what is masculine, what's feminine? I've never been like super masculine, but I mean that's just who I am. I'm not. I'm not ashamed of it. I guess it confused me a little bit because of social norms, right? Because there is certain idea that you should be this way if you are a man, right? So yeah, okay. So because of that, it confused me. But like, yeah, I mean, I have no shame to say, I've never been good at sports or interested in sports, I've always liked like working with my hands. I do crochet and stuff like that. So um I've always been in the theater and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean that's a fucking bullshit. I mean, yeah, I would. Hey, I would just really flip out if another trans man lectured to me about how to be a man, because I don't have to be told how to be a man. I'm a man. Okay, shut
Right.
up.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I'm highlighting these comments for a reason because people do not see this at all. So this is a trans woman, and a trans man was trying to tell her how she should pass.
Oh, God.
And I also wanted to highlight this too. This is what performative allyship and hate. This is what you get. That's some of us that can't transition because it's not safe to.
Mm.
Texas is one of those states. Florida, especially, is going to be one of those states.
Yeah.
We need to make it safer for people to come out. Like, yes, we have become more of a accepting society, but I mean, it's still really bad right now.
Mm.
Yeah.
How do we, I want to ask you both this, like, how do we actually counteract this performative allyship that's going on? I mean, obviously, this took years and years to actually come surface. So I know it's going to take some significant amount of time in terms of defeating it. But, like, I just want to get some insight in terms of what your approach would be. I know we've been talking about educating a lot. For me, I think my biggest challenge is dealing with the entitlement, like basically making it all about them and them refusing to humble themselves. So I just want to open the floor to that discussion.
Yeah. And then there's also like people that succumb to pressure, which that gets on
Mm.
my nerves. I'm like, so you're what you think is right is can easily be swayed by public pressure, which I
Mm-hmm.
get can be a lot, but still.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What about you, Sikaru?
Wow. So your question is how to combat the performative allyship, right? Is
Yeah,
that
like an
is
ideal
that?
solution.
I mean, okay, I know like I'm repeating myself like in like we were in, was that Sunday or Saturday? I don't even remember anymore. But
I
anyway,
think it was Saturday.
yeah. So I'm repeating myself, okay? But I mean, we have to keep educating, I guess. You know,
Mm-hmm.
um, yeah. I mean, just it's frustrating for sure, but it's important to keep, well, as you say, all the time, Noah. Keep using your voice and keep telling them what's what, because it's sometimes like it's so I mean it happens to me too. Sometimes it's so hard to be vocal. It's just
Mm-hmm.
like sometimes you just want to crawl, like, and hide and just like be, by yourself and like just but I mean, yeah, so it's hard and we can't do it all the time, but we do have to keep, using our voice.
Right, we do. And, I really like this model. I think we need to reinforce to allies is don't just say it, show us,
Mm.
demonstrate to us that you are an ally with your actions. For me, it's one thing. Like, if you say one thing, it's like, for me, I don't take it seriously unless you have something to kind of back it up, like your actions. Actions speak louder than words, but
Mm.
also using your voice is your greatest asset. So if you combine both of those together, you'll be an unstoppable force. So, I mean, I do agree with the whole principle of education. I've also at this point that, the people, the ones that actually engage in entitlement, what I would say to them is even though they may not listen to me and I may get blocked,
Mm.
at least I'm going to try to plant the seed there before they do.
Mm.
And hope at some point they will take some time and reflect on that. If not, then, who needs them?
Right.
Like, leave them behind. But just know that anytime that you tweet about anything with the LGBTQ, I'm not going to take you seriously. Like, I had a comment, what was it, a couple weeks ago, who this lesbian came on my thread, and she basically said, hey, like, if it wasn't for me, you people wouldn't have a voice.
What?
Like, who died and made you the leader of the lesbian community? Because I don't think anybody made you the leader of the lesbian community.
Wow.
That is something I would say is an example of performative allyship within our own community, is when they do that type of shit. And they say that. It's like, I'm the leader and blah, blah, blah. No. You weren't in the newspaper. Nobody really talks about you. So please kind of put that to the side.
Mm.
It's just, it's insane. This entitlement's insane. Just like I expressed on the launch when I got let go because of my gender identity and was basically trying to be educated by a gay cis man telling me what being trans was like and what transphobia was. That shit,
Mm.
it's not okay.
No.
What I experienced at Stars, and Justin has seen this in real time, where these motherfuckers really had me in tears because they literally would not stop on me. I even got told, actually, one of my other supervisors, he was actually gay too. So he was in the LGBTQ. So both of my supervisors, correct me if I'm wrong, Justin, but wasn't Shannon a lesbian or was she bisexual?
That's a good question. I can't remember.
Well, either way, she was part of the other parts of the LGBTQ acronym. But both of them basically degraded me, and they, like I said, they told me I have no business practicing therapy.
Oh my god.
Because I was always stressed and because of my identity.
Did she say that? Because
Yeah.
their identity? Oh my god.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
She
they
said
pretty
that to
much
me.
told you to straight up like drop out or like.
I mean, Justin is like, I mean, if you kind of want to expose a little bit about that agency too, because you were there, and in terms,
The
I mean, they were the
malpractice.
worst. They were the worst performative allies ever. So, at least in my opinion, but feel free to share any insights on that.
Anytime I think about stars, I like my first instinct is to think about like just like how they ran the facility.
Yep.
That was the most insane part. I can never forget that part.
Yep. Not being, what was it? Was it a 3-to-1 ratio?
I'm not even sure if that was the ratio. It might have been a bigger difference. It was just like the scenes that happened, like doors
Not.
were taken off their hinges, clean off.
Yep.
Double glass pane windows shattered.
Yep. I remember cleaning that up too. I remember cleaning that up. Yeah, like so to give you a little bit of kind of like background information what Justin's talking about, we had a client that who I honestly think we should not have taken because I think he needed a higher level of care. But he had schizoaffective disorder, autism, ADHD, and was using
History of
drugs.
aggression, which
Yeah.
till later.
Yeah.
Which we also
So
found out later that they were also tapering this person off of meds that they were supposed to be on.
yeah. So it was just slowly declining. One day, me and another coworker, and this coworker, she didn't have a lot of exposure to mental health. So I didn't have rapport with this client, so she did. So she kind of kept him de-escalated most of the day. I think we only had a few other people that were there. And so there was a discussion of trying to get him to leave, and basically he went and ripped one of the fobs off the door. Basically he escaped. They called the cops. I had to move all the residents into another room. Of course, I had to kind of distract them away. But basically they called the cops. The cops couldn't find him, so they just kind of let him go. About a few hours later, I was actually directed by my supervisor to tell him to leave. And I did tell him to leave. He did not handle that very well. We weren't aware of any background information about him, so we didn't know what really would set off his triggers, which we figured out kind of like naturally, which was his mother. And my boss had told me to give him a cell phone so he can call his mom. He lost it. And so I was on the phone with my supervisor and I said, hey, I'm trying to take care of my residents and the coworkers. And she basically told me I had no business trying to take care of my coworkers because it wasn't my concern. I mean, this person was scary. And like I had mentioned, the worker that I was working with didn't have a lot of exposure to mental health. So she was freaking out. I moved all the residents over. I kind of stayed out with another coworker who was actually licensed to do a 5150. If anybody doesn't know what that is, that basically means that they hold the client pretty much by force because they have become a danger to themselves and society. So basically, next thing we know, we're sitting here kind of like watching him, and he grabs an umbrella and he breaks the window. Afterwards, my supervisor, my other supervisor actually made a joke about it. He turned it into a joke, basically. He said, like, damn, well, I should not have left the umbrella out. And I'm thinking to myself, well, like, no shit. You should have fucking took the umbrella somewhere else.
You should have like took it out of his hand.
Yeah, so I had a conversation with the director, which is another supervisor, the next day. She told me, Noah, we were also a hands-off facility, so we're not allowed to restrain. She had told me that I should have grabbed him by his pants, like near his belt buckle area, and tried to take the umbrella out of his hand. This guy is fully escalated. There was no point in trying to de-escalate because he was already at that breaking point. So essentially, she was getting on to me because I didn't put myself in danger. And so, because of that incident, they decided to punish everyone and retrain us on de-escalation techniques. Weren't you there for that, Justin?
Oh yeah.
They talked to us like children.
Yeah.
But I mean,
talked to us like we were 5.
Yeah, like we didn't know what we were doing.
Do it like this.
Yeah, that training was such bullshit. So
It was ridiculous. I'm like, this is not how it would even go down. This is not realistic. And exactly how long do you expect us to be able to dodge?
Right. Like, I mean, once somebody's fully escalated, you can't really do anything about this. But see, this is something that so JT had mentioned this, that we need more LGBTQ people in the medical community and better educated ones. I'm actually working on that right now with a professor. So this is kind of like my contribution to the trans community. I'm hoping to sit on the American Counseling Association's Gender Task Force. Essentially, at that point, I would be writing articles for them, basically tips on how to work with transgender clients, gender nonconforming and non-binary. Because I noticed that there is a lot of education out there, but for me, I really can't trust it because it was all written by cis people. And it's like I said, I want to clarify, I have nothing against cis people, and I'm sure they mean well. But honestly, I think for me, I would have more credibility if I had read something that was from a trans person.
I
And
agree.
I know I'm probably going to get shit for saying that, but I kind of wanted to get your viewpoints on that as well. Like with the education that's out there, I want to just get some insight on how you guys feel about it.
Okay, I'm not okay. So I just have to say I'm not in your profession, so I just have to come from like different angle. But so I mean, okay, this is what I don't get. I don't get like what's so wrong about what you said because it totally makes sense to me. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, okay. So trans people writing about what gender non-conforming people writing about trans and gender non-conforming people. That's like no-brainer to me because it's okay. So let's just draw a parallel here. It's
Mm-hmm.
like somebody saying, okay, white person writing Asian experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, writing a story about Asian experience. Okay, that happens, but hey, I mean, at the end of the day, wouldn't that be better if Asian people write about Asian experience because like we experienced it? It's authentic.
Yes.
I mean, that's no brainer
Yes.
to me.
Yes.
Yeah.
What about you, Justin?
Yeah, I definitely think like there are trainings out there, but they need a lot more, and I think it should be part of the core of employment trainings, especially at the beginning when employees start.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty impressed with the training that they have out in the Bay Area for the job that I'm at right now. But I mean, for me, it's like I'm glad that it's starting to improve a little bit. But I mean, I still, in a sense, don't buy it because it's not practiced.
Mhm.
Like, you can educate somebody, but they're still not really enforcing that. I know that there was a bill that just recently got passed and concerns of this, that they're going to provide more healthcare professionals with LGBTQ training, particularly with the trans community. And basically, they're punishing the professionals who kind of go against that.
Mm.
I know that may sound extreme for some, but like for me, like I'm personally okay with it, but it just makes me question what type of education are you using?
Mm.
Like, are you using standard education or are you really going into depth with education? I think for me, the whole concept of being transgender, it's such a broad term
Mm-hmm.
just because there's a lot of uniqueness.
Yep.
People have their own meanings of what it is. I think we need to go kind of beyond the medical pathology when it comes to being trans, because it's easy to say it's like, okay, female to male, fine. But you need to kind of go more in depth of the issues. The thing that just disturbs me the most is like people are throwing the facts out there, but it's not really being reflected. Like, so like I can think of one organization, and I'm actually going to encourage all my trans and non-binary siblings to participate in this. It's the new transgender survey that's coming out in 2022. It's by transequality.org. They do really in-depth statistics. They really break it down. They go by housing, discrimination, harassment. I mean, they even break it down by race, by state. So please, I encourage you all to participate in that. They need to have, at least for me, I think I would argue that we need to have research done at least every other year.
Mm-hmm.
Just to be realistic, because doing research does cost money. But I
Mm.
believe every other year there needs to be, for me, that would demonstrate true allyship for me, is if they
Mm-hmm.
actually participated in doing surveys and trying to get people's opinions.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the research right now with what I'm doing with my professor, we're trying to figure out why trans people have been kind of like not really been in this field. Because like I see it online, like I've been able to push people or encourage people to pursue the field of mental health, um, but something is always stopping them. There's no articles currently in my field about the trans therapist experience. And
Mm-hmm.
that is something currently that we are working on right now. We have identified some trans therapists and we're going to gain insight. as to why this is going on. For me personally, I think it's exactly what it is: performative allyship. They get discouraged in this field because it's not being practiced. I want to say performative allyship also doesn't, it's not a red or blue issue. It could be
Right.
anything. I also want to make it clear on this network, we do have differences. I know some of us have political differences, but we're not really focused on that. We are together because we see a problem, we want to fix it. We put our differences aside.
I agree.
I don't really want to hog the space and everything, so I want to just kind of open up the conversation more. Like, tell us more about, like, with your line of work, Sukuru, because I know we kind of talked about mental health. So do you have any, like, insight or?
Yeah. Well, actually, if I can put my researcher hat on for a second, I have I prepare myself today. So no, I'm like I have this like burning topic, and I'm sure like some of you guys like have seen this article. Actually, it's been like out there maybe for a week. So it's Pride Month. Like all these pride celebrations are happening all around the nation. We had West Hollywood Pride this past weekend. We have LA Pride this weekend. So these corporations sponsor, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So this Data for Progress did the research, kind of very detailed research about corporations who sponsor pride celebrations, but they also donate money to politicians or political groups that support anti-LGBTQIA plus legislations, right? Yeah, this is a good stuff. So you mentioned Noah about Human Rights Commission (HRC), right? Some of these companies, I guess, in the world, like they play both sides. So in other words, so they do okay. They do donate money to politicians or political groups that support anti-LGBTQIA plus legislations. But some of these companies are also, does HLC pledge, like equality pledge. So yeah, and I will name them. Yes. Okay. Okay, actually, I have to share like who was the worst offender was, and to my disappointment, because it's a Japanese company, Toyota. They're the worst offender. I mean, they're in Texas as well, so that's kind of gives you a perspective. They used to be in California, but they moved their headquarters to Texas because Texas is more business friendly, right? So they get a lot of money, frankly, a lot of like tax breaks and stuff like that from Texas. So yeah, they donate a lot of money to fucking Abbott. Yeah, so yeah, Toyota's the worst offender, but so like let's name these corporations who, yeah, okay, so Amazon, if I remember correctly, Amazon's sponsoring LA Pride this year. Yeah, Amazon's like the fourth worst offender. AT&T, the second. AT&T plays both sides too. I mean, they are in Texas, so they're headquartered in Texas, so I guess naturally. But some of these guys, I mean, I was okay, so I should probably, I mean, okay, Walmart, that's kind of no surprise for me, but I'm not gonna like name all of them, but I just wanted to highlight who was
Disney's one.
let's see. Yeah, so Capital One. Oh yeah, okay, hold on. So AT&T, Amazon, they do like HRC pledge. So yeah, let's just name these companies who does HRC pledge, meaning that yes, we pledge to to create workplace that's where equality is their hallmark. But so
Is Disney on that list?
Oh yeah, I was saying Disney.
Well, I mean, Disney actually is
Yeah.
mentioned, but actually they're not on this list because it's kind of like a top. I don't know, like it's top 20 or whatever, 2015 maybe.
Is there like a
Um,
screen we can share?
yeah, okay, yeah, okay. Let me just search that because I actually had this like on a different browser. That's why I was not sharing. Hold on.
Yeah, because I think it would be good we have visuals.
Right, right. Okay, hold on. Let's see.
And I agree, Disney is pretty garbage.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Let's see. So,
I mean, I won't lie too. Like, I mean, I've gotten some sources from HRC, more particularly with the trans lives that are lost. But I've
mhm.
actually been finding other websites that actually have highlighted more trans deaths. I feel like, okay, so like with HRC, when it comes to trans and non-binary deaths, they highlight a lot of the trans deaths that have happened in red states, but they do acknowledge there are some that have happened in blue states. If you really want to make it a red and blue issue, which I am trying not to, because death is death, it shouldn't have a label to it. But
Right.
you could clearly see the bias when you're actually looking at it. I can't wait to
Okay.
see these companies.
Do you guys see my screen? Oh
No,
no. Okay, hold on. Oh,
it's
because I'm not sharing it yet. Sorry, that's why. Um. Okay. There you go. All right. Do you see it?
it's there we go.
Okay. So let's just look at these beautiful companies.
Oh my god,
um.
Toyota.
Yeah, Toyota. Come on. God, do better. Yeah. So I guess what I'm trying to say though. I know what people say about these pride celebrations because they are so most of them are especially in the major cities like LA, they
Mm-hmm.
cost a lot of money to put that on. So I guess probably organizers' excuse is like, oh, but we need money to put it on.
I just
And
upload. I'm sorry to just interrupt, Sukuru. I just blew this up just so that way people can read it because I know it's a little tiny in writing. So,
right, right.
but go ahead.
Yeah. So what I was saying was, okay, so I know that people, and meaning like people in our community, some people really enjoy going to the pride celebrations. I personally am not, but I know
Mm-hmm.
like people are free to do stuff, so they go out there, have fun. But I just want to tell them that just be aware.
Mm-hmm.
When you see logos or names of these companies that are donating money and sponsoring prize celebrations, just be aware that, yeah, they throw money at us, but it's
Mm-hmm.
not about equality or it's not about solidarity. It's just it's like one of the two things of both, right? I mean, first of all, they want the gay money.
Mm-hmm.
Second of all, they just want to look good, you know?
Yep.
So just be aware. Don't be fooled that, oh, this company is like giving us money to run this celebration. So anyway, so this like little kind of like a 3 line or 2 line mark
Mm-hmm.
is HRC logo. So yeah, AT&T, Amazon, General Motors, let's see,
Jesus Christ.
It's a lot of them.
Microsoft. Yep,
There's
I
Johnson
know
and
Johnson.
Microsoft.
Johnson.
It's like
Yep.
really like we just can't stop being terrible. We got to give you cancer. Our vaccine doesn't work. Uh,
Yep.
just like we just got to hit all the bases.
Okay.
Target. Target
Yeah,
is
I
one I
know.
want to
Target.
highlight
Wow,
Can
because
I say
Target.
something? Target. Okay.
is it really that small? Like
Well, I guess two things really upset me about this chart. I mean, okay, Toyota upset me too, but okay, two things. Target, come on,
Mm-hmm.
Target, because like I guess right now their big thing is like they teamed up with the no, okay, so they do this thing that what was that? They started to sell. Oh yeah. So they are starting to sell binders, right?
Yes, by a transphobic company.
Wow.
Yeah. So I
Yep.
mean, also Gilead. Okay, Gilead is a sponsor of LA Pride as well. I saw their name. Gilead makes HIV drugs, right? I mean, come on. So
Right.
they want to profit over our sickness and death, and they give money to anti-LGBTQIA plus legislations. I mean, how fucked up is that?
Is
How
Wells
fucked up
Fargo
is
on
that?
there?
Huh?
Is Wells Fargo on there?
I think so. I've seen them. I think. Let's see. Or not. Maybe not.
Oh crap! My bank is on there. Shit.
Oh, you
Bank
mean
of
like a bunch of
America?
assholes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Ah, dang it! I'm
Chase
finding
is
a
up
credit
there.
union.
No, sorry.
That is insane. And also, I want people to remember too about Amazon. It kind of goes beyond the fact that they treat their workers like garbage. They also platform transphobia too. So all of you guys that are sitting there getting mad that some people are platforming transphobia, Amazon is platforming transphobia with their novels. What about Chase Bank?
Oh yeah, Chase is
Oh,
in there.
Chase was on there.
Yep.
JP Morgan, Chase. It was
Yep. Chase
a
is
little
on there.
bit below.
Let's see.
Yeah, right under Chevron.
I'm not surprised about Chevron. I'm so not surprised.
Budweiser doesn't surprise me. That just
Yeah.
I
just
would have
sounds like a
expected to see.
Republican beer. Sorry to get a little bit political, but that just sounds like a Republican beer.
I'm sorry, like I won't lie. Like I used to drink Budweiser. It tastes like shit. So you're not really missing.
Yeah, I know. You're not missing anything. Just ditch them. Yeah.
And they're
I've
union
tried all the
busters
basic
too.
beers. They all taste like shit.
Yep.
Even Corona.
Yes.
Give
Corona
it a
is
little bit of
not that
lime. It
good.
makes it a little bit better, but it's still terrible.
And I also want to add too, just like Heather had mentioned, these are all union buster companies.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
I mean, seriously, we got to remember that.
Yeah. And I mean, okay, so this is actually a fact. I mean, it's like I hate to say it, but almost any big corporations donate money to both parties, right? So it's not even like a bipartisan issue. I mean, once
Right.
again, because they play both sides. That's what they do.
yeah.
So
Yeah. And people do not see this. There's a reason why shit gets hidden, because they don't want us to know. They don't want people to know.
right.
They don't want to get exposed. That's why they kind of use like a scare tactic in a way. I mean, I am not going to shame people for what they do with their decisions. That's just not in my nature. I would just hope at some point want to encourage them that it's okay and you don't need to be afraid.
Yeah.
These companies are evil
Yep.
on so many levels. It is the worst type of performative allyship that you'll ever see.
Mm-hmm.
Because if people saw this, that will expose that they are just pieces of shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And honestly, again, I'm going to reiterate, I would rather be told that you're a piece of shit than basically making people believe that you're fucking good.
Right.
That is a bad intention, in my opinion. That is not coming from a good place. You can't be a trans ally, but yet support transphobia. You can't be an LGBT ally and support homophobia or biphobia.
Right.
You can't do that. That's not how that shit works. You're either with on one side or with another. You can't have it both ways at all.
I agree. Yep. Well, so yeah, on that note, at least Chick-fil-A, I mean, they don't lie. They know. I mean, we know that they're assholes, so that's why I don't go there. That's why I don't eat their fucking chicken sandwich. I mean, at least I know not to eat them, right? So
yeah. I mean, I won't even lie. Like, I mean, before I knew about Chick-fil-A and their garbage things, like I had Chick-fil-A at one point, and I mean, I won't lie. There's a reason why people call it the devil's chicken because the chicken actually isn't bad.
Yeah,
Like, at
before I
least in
knew they
my
were
opinion.
very homophobic and transphobic, I've had it, and I was like, okay,
But it was good. But I mean, I know
yeah,
like in some places, like and some people may have had different experiences with it, but like it was good when I had it. But like the moment like I found out that they were just openly homophobic, I'm like, fuck this. I'm not gonna eat there anymore.
Mhm.
yeah,
I mean, I just won't. I know actually In and Out's another one too.
Yep.
you're right, yeah,
And I mean, I'm gonna be real and just educate people. In and Out is not as good as what the public wants you to believe. Like honestly, like their fries kind of suck. So
their fries taste like salted cardboard.
yes, that's what I was about to say. You said it. You took the words right out of my mouth. It tastes like a freaking cardboard. It's just like ill.
Yeah,
Like
Five Guys is
especially
much better.
yes, but it's too expensive though. So like that's the
That is
problem.
true.
But their fries are the shit. I may
You ever had
actually
Smash Burger? I know I'm getting off topic, but that's another good burger place.
yes.
Mm.
While we're here, let's actually like promote actual like good places to go to tell allies to say like, hey, instead of going to these places, let's go to the other ones.
Yeah.
So
Right.
yeah, actually, I actually agree with this comment. It is overpriced and it is pretty greasy.
Hmm.
Mhm.
KFC, actually, that's the only one I probably will not promote because I think KFC is nasty.
Yeah, I will never promote
Yeah.
KFC. I got food poisoning from them twice, and will never eat
Oh
KFC again.
no. Wow.
Yeah,
Yes. Or, what is it? Church's Chicken.
Mm.
I haven't had churches in a minute. Are they bad too?
Yeah. To
It's a
me,
good
it
thing I
tastes
don't
like
eat
cat piss.
churches anymore.
To me, it tastes like cat piss. Not
Ugh,
that I know what it tastes like,
I
but
definitely
like it
don't want to
has like
eat
that sour.
churches. I'll stick with Popeyes. They got really good
That's what
mashed
I'm saying. Popeyes
potatoes.
is the shit. I
Yeah.
encourage all to go to Popeyes because Popeyes is actually good. Like I like their
Yeah.
spicy chicken sandwiches. So like I
Oh my
mean,
god, I
come
haven't
on.
had those in forever.
Oh, you
So
need to
good.
like get on that, bro, and get some of that
Yeah.
spicy chicken sandwiches because like
Yeah.
yeah,
We
that
are
is the
way
shit.
off topic. You know what?
But yeah, but
That
this
does
is just
bring up
an
the idea that
encouragement,
maybe we should have like a food podcast.
right? Well, we
Ooh,
should
all
that
right.
Call it foodies.
foodie. Hey, if anybody's open to it, we'll definitely do it. Like we will have a
Mhm.
foodies podcast. So
Now I'm
I
just
have been
thinking of
kind of
all
looking.
kinds of food I wanna have. Now I'm like, I want pho now.
Mm.
So all right, here's one. Starbucks. I'm going to make a criticism about Starbucks, and I may get,
Mm.
and I'm going to use this term
Mm.
loosely with cancel. Um, but Starbucks, I know they have been getting a little bit better with the unionizing. I know I heard that they were actually unionizing some, but
Yeah.
they're just to educate the public. Recently, they actually closed down one of their
Yep.
stores.
Yeah,
Mhm.
their CEO
He's
what's
a garbage.
that
Okay,
kid,
that's yeah.
he's totally union busting. He's
Yep.
like just
Mhm.
comic book villain type shit.
Yep.
Which comic
That's
book villain, though?
I don't know. I'm gonna have to find one for him because I'm like the Amazon CEO already looks like Lex Luthor. Like, like
oh
he might
god.
as well be. Shoot, all
I'm
we need
really
is
dead.
Superman, and he'll find the kryptonite.
Mm. Oh,
I'm
but you know
super.
what? Actually, yeah, yeah. Thank you for mentioning Justin. Yeah, I mean, okay, so Howard Schultz. That's the
Yeah,
CEO, right? I mean,
yeah. He tried
he
to run for
he
president.
yeah,
Mhm.
he is a like um he's the epitome of performative allyship.
Yes.
Oh,
Imagine, because
totally.
he's always been that like this is always has been his thing that oh I am so benevolent. I'm
Yeah.
so
Mhm.
good to my employees. Like I pay for
Mm.
their college. We have better pay. We have a better benefits. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
While he is making millions of dollars
Mhm.
himself, right?
Right.
I mean, I know that like his story is like he comes from like poverty. He
Mm-hmm.
was very, very poor when he was a child. Like he grew up in a project and stuff like that. I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
know that, you know. So yeah, okay, yeah, you are self-made. I mean, I give you that, but there's like no excuse whatsoever that he is like, yeah, I mean, he is so, I mean, he's just the biggest union buster. And
Yeah, he's
he
really
actually was
greedy.
brought back because he was in retirement.
Mhm.
He was brought back the second time because they needed Uncle Schultz's help. They thought, you know, to talk to the employees nicely so that
Yeah,
they would change their mind. But look what's happening.
I
Yeah, I mean,
got a nickname for him, call him Uncle Shits.
yeah,
Yes.
they're not being fooled.
Hmm.
Yeah. Honestly, when he ran for president, like I honestly like again, kind of like 2016, I was kind of like in a disbelief. I'm like, okay, wait, what the actual fuck?
Yeah, I was like, this is gonna be bad, and then it turns out, no, you just stupid. I'm like, y- how are you gonna be even a worse rich person trying to run for office?
Yes,
How you you're worse than Trump? Like, what the hell?
right.
Mm. He
Oh
has
my
like
god.
the guy has such a big ego, you
Oh
know.
yeah, any
Oh
of
my
those
God.
billionaires, dude, they are so out of touch.
Yes. That's the problem. We have an ego
Yeah.
problem in
I wonder why
America.
they're trying to
Like
go to
everybody,
space.
yeah, like we have an ego problem, and you know, like people, it's been shown now, like people who have bad egos, like let's take Trump for example. He has like a narcissistic ego.
Hmm.
Okay, what people like the thing that you have to remember with narcissism in general is that they want that attention and they crave it. So they will do
Yeah.
anything in a sense to stir shit up. We all know that he has been a proven liar, okay?
Mm.
You know, like he said he would do stuff, but he never did it. He, in
Yeah.
a sense, was using kind of like a scare tactic to get you to guys give him that attention. I just
Yeah.
want to put a message out here and make this clear. I think Trump is a garbage, vile human being.
Mhm.
I am really sad that he was even president in the first place.
Yeah.
But you all really need to shut the fuck up about him and not give him this attention anymore.
Yeah.
Because as long as if you're gonna go on one hand, I feel like now I kind of want to bring this up. Society has become a walking contradiction. You
Yeah.
can't sit there and demand for somebody to shut the fuck up and stop, but yet reinforce him to keep talking
Mhm.
and to keep
Hmm.
making a stink. That's not how that works. Just like with performative allyship, again, I'm going to reiterate you can't say that you're trans friendly or LGBT friendly, but yet support
Mhm.
transphobia and homophobia. It does not work that way. You cannot have it both ways. It is one or the other. I am sorry. That is the only thing I am going to say is a binary issue. And I also want to reiterate to any transphobes or any TERFs that may come across this gender is not a binary issue. It is not.
Yeah.
We all have our preferences. We all know what makes us.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
want to reiterate that. Oh my god, I have to show this because this is a joke. This has to be a joke.
Mhm.
I honestly, okay, so I'm just gonna be real with this. I never understood why they used the Brandon
It
skit.
was ridiculous. I'm like, just say fuck Joe Biden. Who cares?
Right.
They're so brain dead. They think there's actual Biden supporters. I'm like, that's not a thing. I'm like, we don't view Biden as a god. We all can see he's falling asleep at the wheel. Fuck.
Okay.
Yes. I mean, like,
Dude,
okay,
how do you
so
think
I will
Sleepy
give.
Joe like stuck? Like it, we can all agree on that.
Yeah, I mean, I will give Biden a little credit though, in terms of the military. Like, I know he did reinstate that,
Mhm.
which is good. But
Yeah, I'll
like,
give him a little bit of credit. Like recently, he signed. He used the Defense Production Act for more green renewable energy for most solar panels,
mm-hmm,
and like reducing completely turning off tariffs for like 2 years for that. So I'm like, that's good.
mm-hmm,
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, which one
Like,
I
I
was
mean,
thinking about that as we're moving more to renewable energies. Very slowly, we could pick up the pace, but you know how gas is crazy expensive.
oh my God, I can't.
I,
I
I, I
actually,
was I was thinking about that. I'm like, they probably know something we don't. They probably are like, yeah, our business is about to be over real soon, so we're just gonna price gouge the fuck out of you and steal as much money as possible.
but these are also the same companies that are, in a sense, kind of making a mockery of Pride Month by hanging their rainbow stickers everywhere.
Yeah.
These are the
And
same
countries that need to
people.
be I mean countries businesses that need to be sued for their effects on our planet. Shoot. That
Yeah.
might also be a thing. They're like, we're about to be sued up the ass. Yeah, we're gonna need some extra money to pad our pockets for when we get hit with fines and shit.
Let me ask the crew, how much is gas down there in SoCal?
Today I saw almost 7, meaning I could 6.99. I saw that one. It's
Shit.
scary. I mean, I don't own the car right now, so I'm like, oh, good. I'm like, I'm so glad I don't own the car and I don't commute. But oh
Oh my
god,
God. I think it's a little over 6 here, isn't it, Justin?
Yeah, the lowest I could find in for gas was 609.
hmm,
Yeah,
wow,
it's between
Insanity.
609 and upwards of 669.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of funny. The last number is 69.
right, right, okay,
Well,
yeah.
apparently Hollywood is $9 a gallon.
Oh
Holy
fuck.
shit.
I'm sorry, I'm not surprised about that one. I mean, Hollywood is
Hmm.
kind of
I remember months ago, it was like $10 in Vegas. I only could imagine how
Oh
expensive it
fuck,
is
fuck,
now.
wow, god.
wow. I actually
Yeah.
saw a video on TikTok not that long ago. I swear this has a lot of COVID resemblance by vibes. You know, when people were buying up all the toilet paper.
Mhm.
So
Hmm.
I saw a video where I don't even know who it was, but basically they had a big pickup truck. They put a piece of tarp on it
Yeah, I
and
saw
filled it up
that.
with gas.
Oh my god,
I
They
was
filled it
like,
up with
come
gas. And I'm
on.
like,
that sounds dangerous.
Very dangerous.
yeah.
I was like,
Oh
I need
my
to get
god.
I'd be like, I need to get the fuck away from here because this
Yeah,
person's
yeah,
gonna
yeah, yeah.
kill us.
Really, really, yeah.
Fucking
I'm
gonna
just
blow up
like,
Oh my
the gas
god.
station.
what is the point of this?
And it was leaking. That was the
Yes,
bad part. I was like, the immediate start, it was leaking. I'm like, you are just
Oh my god.
like putting yourself in a debt and gonna get possibly several people killed at the very least if it catches on fire.
Right, right.
Not
and
to
Oh
mention, I'm
god.
like, it's not covered. It's gonna evaporate. It's a
Yeah,
liquid.
yeah.
Like, what the hell?
People
Dude,
acting irrationally. I mean,
putting gas
again,
in your
once
own
again.
gas tank, if you don't drive it for a certain amount of time, some of that shit is just gonna evaporate before you even get to drive your car with it.
see, now you're actually making me think about water pie now. See, like I just finally got that traumatic video out of my head. Now I'm starting to think about it. Thank you so
Yeah,
much, Justin.
these
Just thank you.
sorry. These yeah, people are so dumb. It's like I even saw like a TikTok of somebody that said like you can't drive an electric car through a car wash. I'm like, how stupid can you be? I'm like, it's not an electric appliance. Like just because you put it in water does not mean like you're gonna get shocked to death.
Oh my god. That is so funny.
Like
Wow.
a stupid, it's a
So
car.
entertaining.
Who the fuck would make a car that isn't waterproof?
That is so
Right.
funny.
That
That
is
is so funny. Okay, it's like
Shit.
you can't drive in the rain. You
And
know,
it's like
right.
you gotta
we've had electric
you gotta
cars
get
since what
electrocuted.
Tesla came out in what 2015.
Right.
Like we would have heard some shit like that if that were to happen in the first fucking place.
That is so funny.
I'm trying to process that actually right
Yeah.
now. Like I'm kind of like in a shock mode right now. A water car. Wow.
Shoot.
Okay.
That's the
Yeah, I'm gonna
dumbest
have
like
to do
thing.
some
You
serious
can't
thinking
drive a
on this one.
car in the snow because it's gonna be too cold.
Don't get me started on the snow.
Alright.
But I mean, the thing I could think about though with that video, it's like I know it wasn't in California though. I think wasn't it in Canada? I think that they were doing that
Doing what?
with the gas, with the gas tank and
In
the
the
truck.
in the pickup?
Yeah, wasn't that
I
in
thought that
Canada?
was in America. I was like, only in America would somebody so stupid. If
Yeah,
it's
I
Canada, I'd be like, okay, apparently they got some people that are pretty stupid. That's interesting. But like I was like, that has to be an American. The
Yeah, it's got to
the
be an
whitest,
American.
pastiest person.
Hey, I'm pretty pasty now. Come on.
Well, no, that's what you get when you are
somebody that
talking
doesn't
to two
bathe.
POCs.
Well, to be frank, I'm actually turning red because this is just very hilarious. So I guess I'm not really pasty right now. So that's good.
But you know what? On a more serious note, I just hate to see like what would happen in California when this. I mean, okay, water shortage is serious already, but
Mhm.
if it gets more serious, I mean that scares me because like water, we all need water, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I mean,
Yeah. I'm
we,
like,
we,
I don't
we
want to
should not
see a
be,
war
yeah.
over water. I'm like, that's fucking scary as hell.
It kind of this is what I'm actually going to talk about now. It kind of ties into performative allyship, but it's like if people remember Maslow's hierarchy of needs, it's actually one of my favorite theories and approaches with mental health. This is the humanistic approach, but Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and I'm actually going to pull it up real quick. So give me just a second, and I will do that because I want to be able to show everybody what I'm talking about.
Mm.
Give me just a moment. I just have to pull up an image. Give me a moment.
It's okay.
Okay,
Well,
let me share the screen. I found it.
all right.
Yeah. Here it is. So I want to go through this this pyramid actually, because these are the fundamentals that we need to survive in this world. And when you talk about people that are really with us, I'm really kind of thinking more about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, your physiological needs. We all have the right for air, water, food, shelter, sleep, clothing, and being able to reproduce. With the LGBTQ, there are homeless people that are like homeless LGBTQ people that are experiencing this right now.
Yeah, and LGBT youth account for 40% of homeless youth.
Yep.
Mhm.
At least
And
that
then,
was a while when that poll was. It could possibly be higher by now.
yep. And
Yeah.
hopefully we can get some stats too about this. The next one, the safety needs, personal security, employment, having resources, health, and property. There are many LGBTQ people that don't even have access to health care.
Mhm.
There are
Mhm.
still LGBTQ people experiencing discrimination in employment.
Right.
There is many LGBTQ people that aren't even out because they don't feel safe. So if you're really a true LGBTQ ally, you would be taking more extreme steps to make this better,
Mhm.
because these are fundamental things for us to succeed in life. The
Yeah.
next one, love and belonging, friendships, intimacy, having family, sense of connection. We need that as human beings.
Hmm.
Mhm.
That one is
Because
so
when
hard
you're
to
living a
find.
life, oh, sorry.
I said that one is can be hard to find.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Hard.
Because this is why there are many
Yeah.
trans suicides and
Mhm.
ideations,
Mhm.
is because they don't have that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whether and most
Housing
of
out here
this,
can be nearly impossible.
yeah, yeah. And
Mm.
when you don't have that love and belonging, because essentially that's your support, it affects your esteem.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Being able to get respect and having respect for yourself, recognition, strength, and freedom. When you're basically living in a depression state and you're experiencing anxiety, you're essentially going to be having a miserable life, and that's what nobody wants. But when you have this
Mm-hmm.
self actualization, that is the last one. That is what we need to go for. If you are again, I'm going to reiterate this. If you are an authentic trans ally, I ask you to please reflect on these aspects of this pyramid. Help us become who we want to be. Being our authentic selves goes beyond just, in a sense, transitioning. Because what we seek in life is meaning. When we figure out our meanings, that's what self actualization is born. So I encourage you all to really reflect on these principles. Talk to a trans person. Don't generalize us. Give me just a second. I'm going to end the
Mm.
sharing. Okay. Like, stop generalizing us. We all have unique stories. And I'm going to emphasize this again. We may share common themes, but it's very different on each level.
Mm-hmm.
When you're putting a generalization on a community, you're not really helping the community. If your heart is in a good place, please just reach out to a trans person. Let them educate you. Humble yourselves. Do not engage in this performative allyship because it is dangerous. Do any of you have any final thoughts regarding this topic?
I think you covered it.
Well, if there's anything additional to add, feel free.
Okay, this is actually off topic a little bit, but I just kind of have to say because I was just looking at the Maslow's hierarchy of needs right now, and you know what really what breaks my heart more than anything is when parents kick their children out of their home
Yep.
because their gender identity or sexual orientation,
Mm-hmm.
because they are like at that moment they are depriving of their children, like all these, like, I mean, it's just like your floor, all of a sudden like caving, and then you just fall. That's like
Mm-hmm.
what it feels like, because like now you don't have a housing, you don't have, maybe you don't have food, you don't have a security, you are out there, in danger, and you don't have a love, you don't have belonging. It's like all these things you are taking away from your
Mm-hmm.
children. And that breaks my heart. I can't really wrap my head around it you know
Mm-hmm.
um so as Noah knows, I mean, for me, being disowned happened in, later in my life, right? I mean, I'm a grown up, so I can deal with it. I make my own money, I have my own home, so
Mm-hmm.
it's okay. It hurts, it hurt me, but I don't. I had like two, needs covered. I have a house, I have sort of security. But I mean, when you do that to a young person, you're just taking it all away.
Right.
I just can't. Yeah.
It's very sad. I've heard stories from other trans men that this happened to. Like, I just can't. I really can't wrap my head around it either. I actually want to actually give a message then to potential parents that may encounter this with their own children. I ask, if you truly love your child, first of all, do not force shit that they don't want to do. That is the one pushback I get from a lot of cis people, or transphobes, I should say. that tell me that I am forcing my kid to be trans? No, nobody is forcing anything on anyone. So, in a sense, don't force your norms onto your own children. Provide a safe space for your child.
Yeah.
Let them know that, hey, we are here for you, whatever hard times that you're going through, because you are going to experience hard times. I mean, we have to tell our children that, unfortunately. I wish we didn't have to, but we do. You will get shit, but know that not only just us are going to be behind you, but know, especially, you are not alone. You are not alone. There are many trans youth that experience that feeling of being alone. And I want to say to all trans youth, you are not alone. You are special. You are worthy. Do not let transphobia or ignorance defeat you. Don't regret coming out as who you are. I will reinforce this message again. The biggest crime you could commit to yourself as a human being is not living your lives authentically. Don't do yourself that injustice. Reach out to local support groups if you can. That is something that we can do on this show, is provide resources for states. So we'll probably start doing that next week. This week, I actually wanted to make an announcement. I know Saturday we were going to be doing our happy hour. However, Sacramento Pride is this weekend, so I will be attending Pride this weekend. However, I will potentially produce some content Sunday. I'm still kind of thinking about it if I'm going to. But if not, then we will come out with another episode of the Trans Files for Wednesday. I want to thank everybody who's been tuning in and watching. I encourage you to keep sharing this video, like, subscribe. Let's get this message out here. We are here for you. We love you. Please continue to live your lives authentically. Please do that for yourselves. Be empathetic, be compassionate. Don't be so quick to shut people out. That is the last thing we need in this world. Don't let anything discourage you. More importantly, do not let anyone stop you from using your voice. You have a voice, use it. Do not let fear stop you. I know that a lot of people are saying that the trans community needs to be quiet. No. Do not let that simple statement stop you. The people that are saying that, though, they're just afraid themselves, and they're trying to make you feel that way. Do not be afraid to use your voice. Stand your ground. Much love to you all. And I want to go ahead and just end it with that, unless you guys have any last thoughts on this.
I'll see you at Sac Pride.
Sac Pride, yes, I will be there.
All right.
All righty.
Well, thank you, Justin. It was very nice meeting you. It was
Nice
awesome.
meeting you.
Hey, Justin, stay backstage for a little bit. So I'm going to
Okay.
go ahead and end this.
Oh, right. Yeah, okay. That's my job. Hold on. Oh, okay. We don't have like out. Okay, we have to come up with outro, but for